Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage. Today is Watercolor Wednesday. I hope you're well. I hope you're warm. I know there's a lot of cold weather going around this week. Not unusual for where I live. This is pretty typical. And I did brave the ice storm yesterday to go out and get my first COVID vaccination. So I'm happy that that's out of the way, and I have an appointment for my second one. Today I have something really fun. It's Watercolor Wednesday, and on Valentine's Day, and I'm trying to remember if that was Saturday or Sunday, I don't remember exactly. But anyways, I got a beautiful bouquet. I think it was Saturday. And here it is. Okay, so those lilies did open up in time for our painting today. At least one of them. Look at that beautiful lily. All right, so this is our subject. And I'm going to be painting a big, loose, splashy painting, wet and wet, with a lot of spatter. Something that anybody can do. So if you were fortunate enough to get a beautiful bouquet for Valentine's Day this year and you still have it, this is a great chance for you to get your paints out and have some fun. So let's get started. Oops. Let's get that out of the way. There we go. So there's a bird's eye view of the bouquet. Now let me just check my settings. Okay, that looks good. So I'm just going to put the bouquet off to the side where I can see it pretty well. And actually, I think what I want to do, I love these astramarias, so I want to take one of these and put it over to the other side here, I think. There we go. I like that. All right, so I'm just going to put this off where I can see it. And I already have a piece of watercolor paper on my piece of plexiglass, and I've already moistened it. I'm using 3 watercolors, yellow, red, and blue. I have a couple of brushes, and if for those of you who are interested, one is a 4, one is a 7, though I could probably go a lot bigger for this lesson today. And I also have a damp, clean kitchen sponge off to the side. I have a couple of water containers like this, a little pint-sized deli container, and I have a couple of Bounty paper towels. Now, my flowers are actually casting a shadow across my surface. I think you can see that. So let me point this out to you, make sure you're understanding what's going on here. The light is coming from this direction, okay, from the left, and my bouquet is right here, but it's casting a shadow across my page. So I want to see if I can pull this down a little bit and still stay in the screen. It's a little too much. All right, and then I'm going to move these over here. Now you see the difference? Big difference. Let me just clear some of this stuff away so there's room. There we go. Okay, so now I think you can see pretty well. Move this over a tiny bit. straighten out my camera. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, so here we go. So I've got my spritzer here, and I'm just going to give my watercolors a little bit of moisture. And I will be able to answer any questions that you may have after the video. So just go ahead and type them into the comments below, and I'll be happy to talk about whatever questions you may have. All I'm doing right now is I'm just making some puddles with various tones of pinks. I'm going to wipe away some of these green tones because I'm not going to be using those until a little bit later in the painting. So I'll just clear an area there and then get some violets. There we go. All right, so that's a start. So I'm just going to splash some color on my page. And this, by the way, is hot press watercolor paper, in case you were wondering. Just going to let that swirl around. Now once this painting is dry, it can be used as decorative paper for your paper crafting projects. You could frame it, mount it, hang it on the wall. You could tear it into pieces, which is something I do quite often, and just use it as a card front. And maybe you've got some ideas of how you like to use your watercolors for purposes other than just to be framed. So maybe you like to make bookmarks. Okay, so there's my first, what I would call a first wash, and I am just splashing some colors around, just sort of discovering how I want the composition to unfold, keeping it nice and loose. I'm not committing to anything in particular yet. Just an overall impression. This is getting really wet, so I'm going to be careful now about adding more water to the paper. So I can actually go in with my, just grab a tissue, and I'm just going to sop up some of the water in some of these areas where I want to get a little more detail. Okay, so just that easy. Now let's see how much detail I can get at this point. So I'm taking my excuse me, I'm taking my brush and I'm just going to remove some of the excess water and do a little drawing of some of these more distinctive flowers. I know what all these flowers are except for these very pretty sort of pale lavender daisy type ones are. Pretty sure they're in the daisy family, but they're not ones that I'm familiar with. I'm going to get some darker tones in here now. Okay. Now I'm going to tip my board a little bit to let the water run. And I'm just going to mop up that extra. It's really saturated. I think you can see the hold it up maybe. I think you can see the paint running, just how wet that is. Okay. It's really nice to have an excuse to paint some beautiful flowers on a cold, wintry day. Highly recommended. Now, I've mentioned before that there's just a few more days, about a week and a half or so, until the end of Sale-A-Bration. And this is the time of year when you can purchase paper crafting supplies, tools, adhesives, papers, all the things that that you'll need to create note cards and boxes if you follow along with my channel. And for every $50 that you spend, you get something for free that you select from the Sale-A-Bration's catalog, or brochure, I should say. It's just a little brochure. And for the last week of the month, this month, I'm going to be doing a creative burst of projects using all of the items that are available for free. So it's going to be 7 days of live videos. I'd love to have you join me. If you're interested, please like and subscribe and hit the bell, and that way you will be notified when I'm about to go live. And it's going to be a really fun week. And there's going to be a wide variety of projects. So I'm going to do everything from simple cards for people just starting out to full-scale 3D projects. There's going to be some painting with ink and lots of other stuff. So, so please stay tuned for that. And I'm also going to have a special challenge coming up. So to learn more about that, go to DandelionCottageDesign.com and subscribe to Notes, and you will get on the announcement list, and I will be hosting a wonderful creative coupe 3D challenge coming right up. And this is going to be something using the Hey Chick and Hey Birthday Chick bundles. So I don't have all the details to share with you yet on that, but that's something that's going to be coming right up in March. And it's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be prizes. There's a lot of very creative and talented people taking part in it. So there'll be all sorts of wonderful inspiration. And I'm pretty excited about that because I loved the that Hey Chick stamp set when it first came out back in 2017, because as many of you know, I'm a chicken keeper and I keep chickens, little bantam chickens, as pets. They do give me eggs, but at this point in their lives they're mostly just living in assisted living. Not all of them are producing eggs anymore, but I do love them, and they do, each of them have their own personality, and many of them look just like the chickens in that stamp set. So it's a lot of fun for me. In fact, for the creative challenge, I think I will have one of my little feathered friends make a guest appearance. Okay, so this is still pretty wet. So while it's that wet, I'm going to take advantage of it, and I'm going to keep building up my layers of color. So this time I'm going to mix a strong pink here and drop that in and see what that does. I've got a beautiful kind of a warm pink rose peeking out in the background here. My lily. There we go. Now for those of you who are interested in watercolor painting or painting with ink in the manner of watercolors, I also have the Watercolor Card Club that is a monthly subscription, and every month we paint a different subject. This month we're painting hummingbirds, and you will get in the mail a package containing everything that you need to make 4 beautiful note cards. And you also have the option to get a coordinating stamp set. So if you're somebody who is feeling unsure of your drawing ability, that's fine, no problem. You just stamp your image and follow right along with us. So again, to find out more about the Watercolor Card Club, you subscribe to Notes. That's how I'm able to communicate all of the classes, the workshops, and the special deals that I have coming up. And you'll get that in your mailbox, your email box, on the 1st of each month, and it will keep you informed as to everything that I have coming up for that month, and on occasion some special swaps or challenges or other information that you might find useful or interesting. So please go ahead and subscribe to that. And I will send you the information about the Watercolor Card Club. Alright, so that's coming along pretty well now. It's starting to look like a bouquet of flowers. Now I want to capture some of these beautiful pale petals that are catching the light up around here. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to take a little bit of a violet tone. Excuse me. Here we go. A little bit of a blue violet. And I'm just going to put that in the background. Let that fade off. Okay. There we go. And now I'm starting to do a little more detail, thinking about the direction of the petals, getting some drawing. Okay, so I think you can get the idea of how you just build up your picture over time. Okay, I'm not in a hurry. I'm just paying attention to the moisture level in the paper and how the paint is reacting, and I'm just working with it. So one of the important things I think that people find challenging about watercolor is that they try to make it do what they want it to do when really a good part of it is just paying attention and just working with the way the pigment interacts with the water on the paper. And that's going to change depending on your climate, the humidity, how warm is it. So you just be patient. And I think you'll find that you have some good results. Now these Astromarias have a little bit of a green tip, kind of a yellowish green tip on the edges of their petals. So now I'm starting to see some of the characteristics of each of these flowers. So I can start to capture some of that. Let's see, this lily This lily has a beautiful pale stamen that's shooting out from the center of the flower. So I just want to capture that. So I'm just lifting out a little bit of paint here. There we go. Now I can go back in there and get some of this yellow tone. And get some of these darks. Go. Now, I have a question for everybody. Do you have a subject that you'd like to see me paint in one of these Watercolor Wednesdays? Let me know. And I'll see if I can accommodate you. So if you have a particular subject, whether it be a flower or a bird, maybe a butterfly, whatever, or maybe you have a certain technique that you feel challenged by and you'd like to see some possible ways of achieving something, put it down in the comments below, and I'll take notes. And maybe I'll be able to schedule a episode just covering that one particular thing that you may be having trouble with. I think I want to add a little flower over here in this spot. Go. Okay, I just want to lift this and see how dry it is. It's still pretty wet. So I think I'm just going to put a couple more touches on here, just a few more dark accents, and then I'm going to put it aside to dry. And on Saturday, for Paper Crafting Saturday, I will show you how it turned out. So I just want to get some nice, rich accents in here. Okay, so I think you can start to see something happening. Getting a lot of color. All right, so that's the beginning. That is the beginning of what I would call a loose, wet and wet floral picture. Just going to wipe off underneath there again. And I'm going to put this aside to dry. And next time I will show you how I use this in another application or two. Get that so you can see it. There you go. All right, so thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that seeing these beautiful flowers has cheered you up a little bit, given you hope that spring is just around the corner and that our gardens will be filled with all sorts of beautiful blossoms that we can paint from. I'll be back on Saturday for Paper Crafting Saturday. And if you'd like to learn more about the upcoming classes, the Watercolor Card Club, and all of the news that's going on here at Dandelion Cottage, please subscribe to Notes from Dandelion Cottage, and I will get you on the mailing list, and you will have all the information that you need to follow up on some of the things that I've talked about today. So thanks again for joining me. I'll see you next time. Stay warm, stay well, and stay creative.